What's going on, gamers? So today we have some sales here we see for software and hardware, but this is going to be focused on how the PlayStation 5 Pro sales are tanking big time in Japan, and how their pricing is bad, and how Nintendo is still dominating that market, and they're still not that behind worldwide against Sony, honestly. But in Japan, they just dominate everything. So we see over here the Switch OLED is, I mean, they're just crushing it in the holidays as usual. Almost 60,000, 21,000 here. That's almost 80,000 consoles with this. It's like 90 plus thousand. So they're almost at 100,000 consoles just last week. But we're going to take a look at some more stuff with the PS5 Pro. The PlayStation 5 had to have a price drop in Japan, a pretty good one, so that they could sell some consoles because the Pro tanked down to under 7,000 in its fourth week. As we see, the Pro is not selling as good as people think. It's not selling out anywhere in Western society. The sales have been slowing down. It started off with a spike because you had some people that still had a PS4 that didn't transition over yet. And then some people that just wanted to get that upgrade. But the spikes is just going down big time. Not only that, but I think the only way this console could get any spike, even in Japan and outside of it, coming up is obviously some discounts and when Monster Hunter comes around in late February. Other than that, we're not going to see anything impressive. It's overpriced. They forced a 2 TB SSD in there. Some people say Concord tax, which I think is funny. The PSSR is failing. It's not doing what it's supposed to. And it's still in beta. And they didn't launch any first-party games. I mean, and if you're on PC and you have a PC, why would you get the Pro, right? Because you could just play on higher settings there without having to wait on a damn patch. So, yeah. But going down, let's take a look at the first 4 weeks of Pro. Then we're going to see what the PS4 Pro did. Then we're going to see how it's just tanking down big time week by week. But as we see here, I mean, it ain't selling much more than the series, right? Because that's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I mean, hell, they're a little bit over 4,000. They're a little under 7,000. But going down here, but as we see in the comments here, increase the price, then decrease the price, sales increase. Yeah, because they're doing a price drop on the holidays for Japan. Like I said, their next big spike will be Monster Hunter for Japan. So here we see PS5 Pro. When it first launched in Japan, it sold 78,000. For Japan, that's really good. But not anything impressive still, though. You would at least hope, it would be a lot more than that. Week 2, huge fall off to under 14,000. Then week 3, we see another fall off to 10,000. And then week 4, as we see today, under 7,000. So it's dropping down, down, down. The Pro did lesser, but it stabilized a little bit. But it kind of had the same big fall off, right? And I don't think that honestly it'll sell that much more. The only way is if they do a price drop. And like I said, there is going to be a spike because of Monster Hunter coming out in February. But more people in Japan will buy the base PlayStation. Whereas overseas over here, looking from Japanese territory, we call this overseas, you see the Pro will probably sell a little bit more. But all in all, it's just not making any waves. It's kind of like, more people are getting into the PC gaming market, which I think is smart. Now, what I want to tell people is because you have a lot of people thinking that, Sony probably dominates the market, but they dominate against Microsoft, but not against Nintendo. Let's take a look here real quick at Game Data Library. The Switch is now at 34.5 million total consoles sold in Japan. That's insane. It's the most sold console of all time in Japan, by the way. Who held the record before? The DS did at 32.99 million. That pretty much almost sold 33 million console units. It's still a console, but it's a handheld unit. A lot of people don't understand that. It's just not a console fixed up to a TV. But they count it as a console unit sold because it's still the same money. It's a video game and it's development and, all that type of stuff. You have some people that want to try to separate things and like, no, it's still video games hardware selling. But going over here, we see that the Switch is now set a new threshold at 34.5 million in Japan. Now, right now, worldwide, I say they're probably close to around 150 million sold. And they haven't even done a price drop yet. That's the crazy part. So imagine when they do the price drop before the Switch 2 comes out. And when the Switch 2 comes out, guys, I'm telling you, remember I said this, it's going to dominate completely. And they're going to take over. They're going to take over the NPDs, which is the North American monthly sales. They're going to take over Europe. They're going to take over Japan massively, of course. They're going to dominate everything. Their software is going to dominate. I mean, you just can't really compete with them. They've always been dominating, but they don't get into like the, PlayStation versus Xbox uh, bubble and think about that. No, they just do what they do, and some people don't even notice that, right? And I have to show them like these numbers, and they're like, damn, as you see in Japan, PlayStation 4 sold 9.5 million. Not right now. So that should give you guys an idea of how things really work, even like in Japan, you know, and that the PlayStation 5 Pro is not really making any waves. And yeah, it's kind of disappointing. And I think a lot of people are disappointed. Now, you have some fanboys that really can't handle that type of reality. They get mad, they want to attack you. It's like, we're doing nothing but sharing stats and facts with you, right? Um, like you see, for example, let's go over here real quick, y'all. I want to show you guys something with the Nintendo Switch. Watch this now, and I want you to tell me if you think Sony can produce these numbers. They can't. Look at this. Think about this. When I say this, this is Nintendo published games. They're the publisher and the developer. Mario Kart 64.27 million. Animal Crossing 46.45 million. These numbers are juggernaut. They don't have these type of numbers on PlayStation first party. You're just not going to see that. Super Smash Bros. 35.14 million. Guys, look at these numbers. Breath of the Wild 32.29 million. And that was last updated in September. Mario Odyssey heading towards 30 million. It'll get there over time. Pokemon games 25, 26, 21, 20. Do we see this? This is insane, right? And we see this is all published by Nintendo, developed. Now, here, what we can do is take a look over here. We're going to look at PlayStation 4 software sales. If they even have a Wikipedia for it. There we go. List of best-selling PlayStation 4 games. Spider-Man, 20 million. Right? It's a superhero mainstream game, but that's not their IP. But I'll still give them to that because they have them. And then it's like, why are you putting Grand Theft Auto 5 in there, right? It's like, that's not a Sony game. Um, God of War, I'll get that to that. It's a really good game. Uncharted 4, that game was kind of overrated. It wasn't nowhere as good as Uncharted 2 and 3. Everybody knows that. But as we see here, this is the biggest improvement Sony has ever made, right? Gran Turismo, The Witcher 3, I mean, that's third party. Once again, that's on other platforms. The Last of Us 2, that's first party. Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us Remasters, but we don't see Nintendo numbers here, do we? After that, nothing is over 10 million. Just a bunch of, other games. Just take a look down and you guys could see that they get blown out the water. Now, let's take a look at PS2. Oh wait, hold on. This is the wrong thing. Yeah. You know what? We can go here. Guys, watch this. Their biggest selling game was GTA from Rockstar, 17.33 million. Remember, we saw those Nintendo numbers, right? We can go to look at DS. We can go to take a look at other Nintendo platforms, and you'll see big numbers again. But the Switch has produced numbers that I've never in my life seen before, and the Switch 2 is going to do the same thing. So Sony does not dominate. Nintendo has always been dominating. And when we think about dominating, we need to think about hardware and software publishing and developing because that's what you're doing for the video game industry in totality. You see, it's no competition. That's why they don't say anything. And they've been hiding their numbers because they got embarrassed by Nintendo's numbers. Like, even when you look over here, it's like, okay, I see one PlayStation game, Gran Turismo 3. That was definitely one of the greatest races of all time, Gran Turismo 4. But after that, you just see a bunch of third party games. See? But that's not Sony, though. When you take a look at Nintendo numbers, yeah, published by them, developed by them mainly. All right, y'all, this is kind of what I wanted to cover. Just to give you a highlight of what's going on in the pro market. As you see, it's not that good. Take a look at Nintendo's market and kind of show you why Sony is also insecure, and they kind of, I think, made up that 160 million PS2 sales number recently, which I think is bullcrap. You don't just add 5 million out of nowhere. You could have updated that a while ago, right? That's kind of Jim Ryan doing that nonsense. And I think when Nintendo dropping the price, they'll still even be able to pass that up. But once again, when you look at the software numbers right here, they get blown off the water. And the Switch has been profited way more than the PS2 by miles. And then it'll finish that way. So, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all. Peace out. Fanboys don't get salty.